What is up, guys? Matthew here, and welcome back to another episode of our F1 23 My Team Career Mode here today for the finale of Season 1, race 16 of 16. And where else better to finish than Las Vegas? We're here today, qualifying and the race to come. It looks like we're going to have a mixed condition qualifying. It might be dry, it might be wet, it might be fully wet, I'm not sure. But the rain looks to be pretty darn wet, which around a street track is always incredibly treacherous. Luckily practice 3 was wet, so I've had some wet running, and it's okay in places, very tricky in others, and I don't know if our setup is going to lean more towards a wet setup with a bit more downforce or not. It really does depend. We might be better off in quali, lesser off in the race, or vice versa. But anyway, we come to this race weekend with a minor chassis upgrade on the car, of course, squeezing the last little bit of resources we can before the end of the season. And that has, as you can see, edged us towards the midfield pack slightly. There still are a couple of movements, a couple of upgrades happening amongst the grid. Haas have took a small gain above Alpine and McLaren. It looks like both Ferrari and maybe Mercedes have had a little gain as well. Maybe Red Bull too. There's been a tiny little gain around the front, guys. Haas are in there. We've took a step away from Williams, Alpha and AlphaTauri. Of course, all the big news and all the big changes will come at the start of Season 2 when we see how much of the new regs we've nailed, as well as the 2 current engine upgrades that are currently sat waiting to be applied on top. So we're in a fantastic position off the back of a podium in Brazil, which was unbelievable. Please check that video out if you haven't already. But now we're going to head to qualifying to see if we can get ourselves into or around the top 10 here for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Here we go then, getting ready for our first lap around Las Vegas. Still can't believe we're racing around Las Vegas. Down the strip as well. It looks stunning, honestly. It is such a beautiful track as we head through Sector 1. Having to readapt to the dry conditions, having just driven in the wet. Realise I can put my foot down a little bit earlier. But it apparently is going to rain in qualifying, but not till the end of Q3, right at the very end. So it might be a little bit like Brazil in that respect, which of course got us a P6. Tough little section here though, a little bit like Miami as you leave the second sector. Not as tough, but mostly got to take it in second. But it's a tricky little left-hander. Can take a lot of that inside curb, but we've missed it. Oh, and the back end's gone. Didn't upshift quickly enough. The rear completely stepped out. And we've lost a couple of tenths there. And we could have attacked that corner much more aggressively. But look at this, down the strip we go. You can see the Eiffel Tower to our left. There's lights, there's glamour, there's glitz, there's just beauty everywhere. We are pretty good through this third sector, but yeah, a couple of corners we could have definitely attacked a little bit more aggressively. A couple of apexes missed. I'll take P5, but there's certainly more time out there. That wasn't the best opening lap. Well, look how much time we've gained by just attacking that corner and taking that curb completely out of the corner. It gave us half a second up the straight alone. That's unbelievable. We may have found a little trick heading into that sector. I mean, we're very quick through here. We're very good through Sector 3. I mean, we were nowhere near improving. We're through anyway. But I might as well set this lap as we are the last across the line. We've gained 6 tenths, a purple third sector, and that's got us up to P4. Very promising signs in qualifying once again in this car, and that bodes well for the Grand Prix into Q2, and for the first time finding a little kink in the track and gain us half a second. Without that, we'd have been a 34 flat, which would have had us around P12. And oh my god, Devon Butler's through! We've got a teammate into Q2! For the first time, it's till the season finale. Devon Butler gets himself into Q2. Where's he? How's he done that? I mean, it's by literally just over 1,000th of a second, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Devon Butler's through. He's making one last attempt to save his seat here at Bugatti. But there's quite a few surprise knockouts. Nick DeVries is out. Ocon is out. He's 21st. Logan Sargent. Bottas as well as Hulkenberg and Tsunoda. So some shocks, I'd say, out in Q1. We set a wonderful lap, which has us into Q2. So let's get to it. Well, this could be the approximate weather for you. I'm out on my banker on used tyres. This is exactly like Brazil. And I'm sure I'm seeing drops of rain already. It wasn't meant to rain till Q3. This is incredible. This is following such a similar pattern to Brazil. But we're out, and we might be best being out early and getting this lap in, because against all forecasts, it's raining here around Vegas. And it's starting to rain quickly, so it is a case of whoever gets their lap in the quickest will be through to Q3 regardless. And I dare say we're one of the first out there. I pretty much went to the flying lap as soon as I realised what tyres I wanted to strap on the car, which, like I say, were used tyres, the same tyres which we used on our first Q1 lap, I believe. So we are going to cross the line here, and it's a pretty good job we are, as the rain starts to pour around Las Vegas, and it's the slowest lap so far. But thankfully Albon is slower, Magnussen is slower, and we need to hope and pray that no other cars improve. That might be the used tyres, because it felt like a good lap. So it's going to be touch and go here whether we are in to Q3. Well, the track's only going to get wetter, you would assume. Let's have a look at Devon Butler's on board, actually. I think he's about to finish the lap. And I think he may have gone out a little too late, unfortunately. Oh, and what's he doing? He's scrapping with a Ferrari through Sector 3. The Ferrari getting in the way of our teammates' lap. And on top of the conditions worsening, Devon Butler, I don't think, is going to be into Q3. And I mean, that's out of no fault of his own. He's 13th. That was just because of a Ferrari getting in his way, which should penalise him, really. So, as it stands, we are in at the moment, and it looks like conditions are only going to be worse. We've got Stroll and Sainz out there, the only ones not to post a lap. And I think Sainz, did he go into pits? No, he didn't. He's out. He's about to finish his lap, in fact, and he's only P13. And if a Ferrari can only make P13 in these conditions, that makes me think we are through. So I'm going to fast forward, assuming it doesn't pick up, it doesn't stop raining, regardless, I think, of the second runs. Let's just wait until around now, when some of the other cars are probably going to go out and it still looks like it's raining. I don't think track conditions will have improved. I mean, do we go out just in case the inters are quicker? Remember around, if we remember around Brazil, we went out in Q3 when the inters come out and it looked too wet for softs when it started raining, and the inters were quicker. Maybe we do go out on a set of inters at the end of this session just to be sure. But I don't think anyone else is going out. I think the AI's staying in the garage is a sign that it's not going to be quicker on inters. And yeah, with 1:48 left, they ain't going back out. We can fast forward to the end of this lap and ensure that the used tyre run, like in Brazil, was enough, because we got it in before the weather changed, and that has us through to Q3. Once again, a big thanks to both the weather and us timing our lap correctly. So Devon Butler is out. He's the slowest car. Stroll joins him, as does Lando Norris. Ferrari's Carlos Sainz is out in P13. He didn't put his lap in soon enough. With Fernando Alonso out as well, with Zhou Guanyu 11th, that means into Q3 you have got us in the Bugatti. Alex Albon makes it in the Williams, as does Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. Then you've got Piastri doing exceptionally well for McLaren. That might be his highest qualifying so far. Gasly once again, like he did in Brazil, qualifying extremely well, getting his laps in. And then you've got Leclerc, Russell, Perez, Verstappen and Hamilton. No surprise there. So let's head to Q3 then, where like in Brazil, it could be a case of whoever sets their lap first gets pole position. So Inters are the quickest tyre. Very nice of Gasly to get out of our way there, as he's sacrificed being the first person to set a lap there. Weird, like how in Brazil, it's us and Gasly who are the two who have cleverly gotten out first to take advantage of the conditions. But I'll tell you what, this might even be heading in to full wet territory already. So like Q2, it could be a case of whoever gets their lap in first gets pole position. Surely we can't get another pole position or another front row start like we did in Brazil. If we can nail this lap on the Inters, we might be in with a chance. Well, here we go then. Gasly's gave us track position, so I don't care how close he gets. He's not getting past. It definitely feels wetter than in practice. And practice was intermediate. Wasn't as strong as this, and it was flat. The final corner didn't feel as flat as it did before. But again, it's adapting to these conditions on the fly. Compared to the AI, it's always harder to adapt to these conditions compared to the AI. Gasly already looks like he's getting a little close. Such a tough section in the wet. Oh, trying to hold it in second after upshift there. Keep the car nice and stable. Upshift again for the exit. I think the distance to Gasly says it all. Oh, gonna have to lift here. Oh, little tap on the wall. I think we've got away with it. There's the car. Understeers! Oh, we've just managed to get it turned in. This has not been good, and this is not going to be the quote-unquote pole position lap that we were hoping for. We've just kept it out the wall there. And we'll be giving Gasly a lovely tow as well, just to compound our misery and make his pole position hopes that little bit more greater. Oh! And a big snap coming out the final corner. So Gasly, no doubt, will set the quickest time here. I don't know where we're going to be relative to everybody else. We did go purple briefly, but we're a second slower than the Alpine. That might have been the window of opportunity to set a pole position lap. Gone, as Perez has gone quicker. We might be P10 here. The hope that if we got out and got our lap in early enough, it could be the quickest time. There might be a degree of that because Magnussen's already on the wet tyres, so I think the initial first lap there was the chance, but we just couldn't adapt quickly enough. And to be fair, Gasly was a lot quicker than us. He's still 3/10 off of Leclerc. We were never ever going to gain a second and a half on that lap. It was really tough. I dare say we might have outqualified Albon. Even Verstappen can't get his Red Bull any further up the grid than 6th. So I think when we went deep into that corner, we maybe lost half a second, maybe 7 or 8 tenths, so possibly. But I don't think it's going to get any better than this. It looks like it is going to be wet weather tyre conditions for the rest of this session. The wet weather tyres apparently are quicker in these current conditions, but I don't think the lap times are going to be any quicker. We might go out on a wet tyre lap at the end of the session just to see what happens, but I think P8 might be where we are qualifying for the race today. Well, we've just went really deep on our out lap, which I think might put us beyond the time that we have. Oh my god, we've almost did it again. I don't think this out lap's going to be quick enough. to post a wet weather lap. 34 seconds. I don't think we're going to get there in time. It's a long old straight this, the longest on the calendar. 20 seconds. I think we're going to just be out of time here to set a wet weather tyre lap. Oh, we've hit the wall as well. 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, we were about 3 or 4 seconds too late. So as expected, even if we'd done similar to Brazil, went out on the better tyre for the conditions and improved, we didn't get the chance to around Vegas. But very similar qualifying sessions, didn't quite make as much of an advantage around here. And our intermediate lap is the quickest. Charles Leclerc has pole position. Perez is on the front row alongside him with Russell. Gasly in behind. Once again, Gasly doing everything necessary to get the right lap in at the right time. He puts himself 4th. Hamilton 5th on the wet tyre. Interestingly, Verstappen and Albon are next. We're behind them, well, alongside Albon, with Piastri and Magnussen in behind us. And it might be a fully wet Grand Prix as well, which is going to be treacherous, really tough. Obviously, the red flag glitch is still a thing, so we've not got red flags on, sadly. Otherwise, this could be a chance to see one. But hopefully there might be our first safety car. We've still not had a safety car. We've not had a VSC yet in the whole Season 1. So anything could happen during the Grand Prix. But it is going to be so tough to fight, so tough to try and overtake, and incredibly difficult to try and get a result out and keep it out the barriers. So yeah, let's head to the grid for the Las Vegas Grand Prix and hope to God we can come through it with a result.
Welcome along to Las Vegas. Saturday night's all right for driving. Well, it is here tonight as F1 takes over the entire city and the Formula One circus comes to town. So a lap of Las Vegas comprises 3.8 miles and 3 straights, but our drivers won't be at top speed down them today as it's very wet out there. It does rain in the desert, sometimes, and now it poses a question of bravery and of strategy. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Gasly, Hamilton, Verstappen, Albon, Ace, Magnussen, Joe, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Norris, Stroll, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Oscar Piastri, Sargent, Ocon, De Vries, Butler, De Vries. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
Listen to that. That's the sound of torrential rain on the chassis and the halo of our Bugatti car. It is torrential rain here around Las Vegas, and it's going to be pretty much like this for the whole Grand Prix. It's going to be so tough. Like I say, we had some time in practice with the car in the intermediates. It was pretty alright. We had full wets in Q3. It wasn't. Now, if we can adapt to the conditions, great. But as it stands currently, it doesn't look the greatest for us. We need to get up to speed with the conditions pretty quick and survive, as far as I'm concerned, because anything can happen in a race like this. So it is torrential rain around Vegas. A full race through this wonderful city, down the strip, in torrential rain. This could be interesting. Let's get to it. Here we are then, on the grid for the Las Vegas Grand Prix in torrential rain. Straight up to second to avoid any wheel spin. Albon's had a good start up ahead here, alongside Verstappen. into turn 1, round the outside. I think we've got Magnussen round our outside, but nothing doing for the Haas car round there. And we are through and remain in P8 and get our foot down as soon as we dare. I mean, well, it's going to be one hell of an achievement just to survive this race. We need to adapt to the conditions quickly and just try and get to the end. There is the potential of a one-stop wet to wet or a no-stop, which I think might be our preferred strategy here. The wets will go to the end. Tyre wear on the wet tyres is of course really low, so shouldn't have to worry about that. Yeah, I will be using ERS on the straights, I'm sure, even with the conditions as wet as they are. It's just so difficult. Visibility is not ideal here, as Guan Yu Zhou clearly is using a bit of ERS because he's having a look round our outside, but not enough room to brake to make that stick. And we've survived lap 1 of 18. I'm not going to say the pace is blistering or anywhere near, but hopefully we'll just gain confidence as we go. Set a purple sector 1 and then barely got the car slowed down in time and almost hit the wall. So there certainly is potential for us round here. It's just a case of doing it consistently, as I think Carlos Sainz was getting a little bit close. We might have to yield to the Ferrari pretty soon. As well, there's battling going on up ahead here. Didn't even realise Hamilton and Verstappen going wheel to wheel around the streets of Las Vegas. And it looks like Hamilton defends successfully from Verstappen. Well, here comes Sainz. No DRS, of course, just pure battery power and Ferrari engine. Having a good look. But we deploy a little bit of battery and that keeps him at bay for now. Oh! Had a wobble coming out of that corner. We're okay. Although there is a bit of wheel-to-wheel action going on up ahead here. It's not Alex Albon having a go at Lewis Hamilton. It is the Williams trying to get down the inside of the Mercedes here. This is something you don't see very often, but Alex Albon giving it everything in that Williams car. He's trying to get by Lewis Hamilton. This is a valiant effort from the Thai British driver. Hamilton down the inside. And I think he's just about going to hang on. They can't go side by side through this section, surely. Well, we've gone deep. We might be about to go side by side with Sainz. He's trying to go down our inside. Great traction on exit there. Keeps us in front of the Ferrari. Well, you join me on lap 6, a third of the way through the Grand Prix, and just as you join me, we're getting a yellow flag somewhere on track. I've noticed Alonso and Sainz have been dropping back behind, so I don't know if something's happened there. Well, it seems to have come to absolutely nothing. But yeah, we're just running around behind Alex Albon at the moment, keeping our nose clean. Hamilton has dropped Albon despite battling with him earlier in the race, and Alonso's being kept busy by Sainz, as I think Alonso did get by Carlos, who's got by him, so them two are battling, which in these conditions is really slowing the other down. So that's allowing us to still run in 8th pretty comfortably. But in these conditions, it's so hard to get close enough to make any moves. So this could be a result based on strategy more than anything else. Well, the Ferrari seems to have gotten a second win from somewhere. because all of a sudden Sainz has absolutely dropped Alonso. And I wouldn't say we're dropping back from Albon, but we're not gaining on him. The only saving grace around here is that you can save so much ERS in the wet weather conditions. We can deploy it all on that long kilometre+ straight and keep Sainz at bay without DRS. It's so tough to overtake in these conditions, so although Sainz is on our back, it's going to be very tough for him to make an overtake. Oh, well, our teammates in the pit, so this is the really interesting part of the race where some might opt to go on a one-stop, put fresh wets on, others might opt to stay out. And this is where it could get a little bit juicy for us, because I reckon we can stay out. We're halfway through the race, the front are on 18%, the rears are on 24, 25%. I'm comfortable with the rears maybe getting as low as 50%, and the fronts are going to be absolutely fine, so we're going to no-stop this Grand Prix to the end, and it could be a masterstroke. We'll have to wait and see, but once again just using all of our ERS, and it keeps us clear of the Ferrari. Albon's in. Alex Albon is in the pits. Interesting. Hamilton is in the pits. Verstappen is in the pits. Leclerc is coming out of the pits. We went a little bit deep. Oh, we've been tagged by Sainz. I think we've gotten damage from that. What happened there? Sainz went down our inside. Understeering into our left rear there. But we did get a damage marker up to say we have sustained some form of damage from that. I don't know if it's underbody or what, but now we've got two hungry red Ferraris in behind us. One of which is Charles Leclerc, and he is on fresh tyres. Oh my god, we've been hit from behind now! We've legitimately just been hit from behind by a Ferrari. I felt the bump. I don't know what happened, but we were hit from behind while braking. We were hit there under braking, I'm sure of it. And we had to go into the runoff. All of a sudden, all sorts of action in behind us, but it's all starting to kick off, and now there's a yellow flag. What's happened? Piastri's slowing down. Is there going to be a safety car? Probably not, knowing this career mode. But yeah, we were hit from behind by a Ferrari. Well, we've once again run into that corner deep, not for the first time. But we're going to fight back here using all the ERS we've saved here, and it's a drag race with Max Verstappen, our old rival here, down this long old straight. We're going to squeeze him to the left-hand side, trying a different line, but he has broken so much later than us, but he's outbroke himself as Verstappen. A little bit of contact between us both, but he's gotten through the corner in front. And we've had to just hold back to keep the car facing the right way there. Verstappen did just overshot the corner ever so slightly, but he's gotten away with it due to the grip of them fresh tyres. So unfortunately, Verstappen has squeezed his way in front. We're now down to P6 with 6 laps to go. Oh my god, Alonso, what's he doing? He's gone down the inside. Bloody hell. Alonso just decided to chuck it down the inside of that corner. I wouldn't risk chucking it down the inside of that corner in the dry, let alone the wet. Did not expect to see the Aston Martin coming, and all of a sudden Lewis Hamilton is also fancying a look. We brake early due to our tyres being worse for wear. Hold it round the outside of both the Merc and the Aston and cling on to P6 once again, but I did not expect Alonso to send it there, and Hamilton tried to capitalise with the slipstream. But I tell you what, Alonso's AI does not hesitate. He did it in the US around quarter towards the end of the race. He didn't even bother waiting around. He thought, I'm just going to send it, Sodja. And he's doing it here. Sounds like conditions are improving, but they're not going to improve anywhere near quickly enough for the end of this Grand Prix. Oh my god, how on earth have we just caught the car? Alonso's there! Round the outside! We drifted the car through. That left-hander avoided the wall by mere inches. And as we collected the car, there was an Aston Martin between us and the wall. And Alonso is proving to be a nightmare here. He's absolutely sending it down the inside, the outside, and he's almost caused a number of plane crashes already, but we're still just about holding him off. But here comes Alonso and Lewis Hamilton here. Where the hell do we place our car? I'm just going to keep it in the middle of the racetrack and hope for the best. Once again we go deep, which is the story of our Grand Prix in that corner. And obviously the grip, or the lack of grip on these tyres, is making it even harder to slow the car down. We've got underbody damage as well. We are a beaten, bloodied and bruised Bugatti. But we are still holding on desperately to what we've got in this race. Well, Hamilton, for once, wasn't challenging us into the final corner, which has actually allowed him a much cleaner run out of the final corner, which allows him to get a run on us down the straight. We've gone deep into turn one, not for the first time. Hamilton's there round our outside of this really, really horrible long right-hander where you dance. Put the power down too early. But we've just about held the car together once again. I mean, we are like a boat. We really are just holding up such a large queue of cars. I mean, Verstappen's 13 seconds clear. This is just us using track position and holding on to it for dear life. Oh my word. We almost lost the car through there. It's understeered through there. Oh my god, here comes Lewis Hamilton. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. Held off with the RS once again, but because he's getting a much cleaner run through the final corner, what I was going to say, it's giving him a better run on us into turn one, but he's being pinched. His pocket's being pinched by Alonso as we are now heading onto the final lap. I'm willing the car to slow down through turn one, but the AI are going to be using even more ERS on this lap to try and get past us. Can we hang on to a P6 here? Once again, it's just been about strategy. No stopping it, holding on to track position, accepting that we are not the quickest car Accepting that we're going to struggle, but here goes Alonso round the outside. Contact again between us and the Aston Martin as Alonso, not for the first time, has sent it round the outside of a corner where you simply cannot overtake. And he's lost a position to Hamilton, and rightfully so. What was he thinking? But, I mean, look at the train of cars behind us. As I think Hamilton was having a look down the inside. Perez wins this bonkers race. Hamilton's out of shape because of his attempted dive. Alonso's dropped all the way back now, and so he should after that ridiculous move. What was he thinking? But we're deploying all of our ERS down the back straight. We're going to maintain a gap of around a second to Lewis Hamilton. We've got plenty of time to get our braking point right for the final couple of corners. The zero stop strategy's worked. Despite contact, despite having an off into the runoff area. We might have been further up, but given the gap to Verstappen, I think we've maximised the result of this final race weekend of Season 1, and we come across the line here in a wet, rainy Las Vegas to take home a P6. Whew, what a race.
But they can go into the winter with their heads held high after an emphatic victory here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sports that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Well, that was a bonkers race. We were the only one out there to no stop it, and the fact we only gained 2 positions just shows how slow we were, but we made it work just about. I mean, some of the moves the AI were trying to do towards the end were just absolutely ridiculous. We had underbody damage. I think a couple of the cars around us probably had damage from some of the moves they were trying to make. It was treacherous out there, but we do finish the season with more points. It's been a wonderful end to the season and a great platform to hopefully use to propel us into next season. And our fastest lap, to be fair, was quicker than Lewis Hamilton's. Nowhere near some of the other guys, but of course we were never on fresh, wet tyres towards the end of the race. But Perez wins the final race, Russell second, Leclerc third, Gasly another great weekend for him, 4th for the Alpine team, Verstappen 5th, Hamilton, Sainz and Alonso finish off the points along with Alex Albon. A wonderful result for him in the Williams, looking for our teammate. Then Devon Butler finishes where he started. Kevin Magnussen DNF'd at some point. I don't know when that was. I completely missed that. Didn't pop up to say it. It's not even on the incidents. So when on earth did Magnussen pit? Well, Devon Butler got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Logan Sargent. God knows what that was. Bottas one with Ocon. Leclerc got one with us when he... That must have been when he hit us from behind, when he outbraked himself. Forced us to go off to the runoff. Piastri got one for corner cutting. And Verstappen won the collision with Hamilton. Bonkers. But nothing about Magnussen's retirement. Interesting. We are going to look at the standings and the race results in more detail in the next episode, which is of course our season review and season 2 preview show. But we do finish the season on 39 points, which is so much more than I expected come the end of the season, after the end of season 1. Obviously, it's been helped massively by this result here and the podium in Brazil, but a wonderful end to the season. 39 points for us. We still didn't have a teammate to pick up any points, unfortunately, and it does leave the Bugatti team finishing season 1 on 39 points, which is a fantastic tally in our opening season, And I think, to be fair, with how the R&D's gone, the battle we wanted to fight was probably to be AlphaTauri, Haas, Williams and Alfa Romeo. They were the 3 we could compete with, or the 4 we could compete with, and that is exactly who we've beaten. So I'll take that. Season done. Let's head to the HQ one final time and round off the season. So then we finish the season midway through level 15 driver acclaim, level 15 team acclaim. Our driver is almost at level 12, which in one season is pretty awesome, and we've achieved all 3 of our sponsor bonuses, which is absolutely awesome. We do have damage deductions, of course. Got hit by both Ferraris, but Devon had more damage deductions. We have 9.52 million now to spend on a teammate. I did hold back on one of the facilities just in case, but since we've gotten all of our sponsor bonuses, we should be good to upgrade a facility and also afford the teammate who I've been thinking. And I think I'm happy to renew UTERP in the new season. I'll stick with them. And we have got a contract renewal, which of course is for our teammate. I am going to just fill these in while we can. So funded team event, that's going to boost the morale of all the departments heading in to the summer break. We'll attend a sim event to get our driver acclaim up. Sponsor advertisement gives us cash and team acclaim, and that's boxed up the week perfectly. We've got 1,122 resource points. Can we squeeze in any more upgrades through the summer break? We've got 2 engine upgrades in the pipeline, of course, and might as well work on the chassis some more over the summer. These are guaranteed to come in, of course, because by the time we get back in the summer, they'll have plenty of time to be rectified. So a tyre upgrade over the summer break, over the winter, will be fantastic. And we're going to be coming back in the new season with 2 engine upgrades and a chassis upgrade. So the car's going to be in fantastic nick. We've also nailed the new regs early, so I feel like it's going to be really interesting to see where this car is and where we are in the order come the start of next season. Of course, we are going to swiftly move in to our new teammate, who I am going to be sorting out next episode. And as for anyone who doesn't know what we do between seasons here on this channel, in our F1 career modes in my team, is we have one episode, a bridge episode, in between the final race of one season and the first race of the new season, where we have a little look over the season. We, of course, design our new livery, get our new teammate, look at the driver moves, look at the driver market, see how we are with the new regs, and yeah, just see what new world we're going to be entering as we head into Season 2, of course. There will be driver movements. Of course, I am going to be hiring a current full-time F1 driver who is going to need his spot in F1 filling, and we are also now going to say farewell to Lewis Hamilton, who is retiring, of course, and that was his final Grand Prix. So who will be replacing Hamilton in Mercedes, and what domino effect will that have on the rest of the driver market? But that's all for next episode, guys. So if you're excited to see where we're going to be, what the grid's going to look like, etc., do join me for the next episode. It's going to be fantastic. They are my favourite episodes of the career mode, where we just sit back and reminisce and look forward with excitement. But until then, if you've enjoyed not only this episode but this opening season, please hit the like button. Thank you so much for everyone who has took the time out to like a video, view a video, subscribe and comment on all of our F1 23 My Team Career Mode episodes so far. I hope you've enjoyed them as much as I have making them. And yeah, I'll be back in a few days' time as we review this season and start Season 2 all over again. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Catch you guys next time.